The college football is set, and I am unhappy. Ohio State, without a doubt, is a top four team in college football. They are not the sixth best team. If Ohio State played Notre Dame, for a fact, this isn't an opinion, Ohio State would blow them out, period. Fact. If Ohio State played Cincinnati, Ohio State would blow them out. Fact. No one can convince me otherwise. I'm telling you right now, Ohio State, what a shame that they are not going to be in the playoff. It's their own fault. I understand that. It's their own fault. You know that when you lost to Oregon, they were going to leave you out if you lost to Michigan. So it's their own fault. But to have Notre Dame, who has only played one ranked team this year, and they lost that game at home to Cincinnati, how in the world are they ranked higher than Ohio State? Cincinnati, they have played two ranked teams this year. Notre Dame, who was extremely overrated, and they beat them. Who cares? That's not impressive, honestly. And then they beat a Houston team. That's not impressive. But here we are with Cincinnati. We got Georgia. Georgia, I have been saying for a long time now, Georgia is a fraud. I am so sick and tired of the SEC living off the glory of Alabama. It is a fact. If you get blown out by Alabama, it doesn't count against you. It just doesn't. In the committee's mind, getting blown out by Alabama, it just doesn't register. It's meaningless. Georgia still is in the playoff. Even though Alabama destroyed them, proved beyond a doubt that they're not a top four team. But yet, here they are, number three. I promise you, flip the conferences to any other conference. Make Michigan, no, make Ohio State number one. They play Michigan in the Big Ten championship. Both teams, okay, so Ohio State has zero losses. Michigan has one loss. Let's just say that. They play in the Big Ten championship, right? Number one Ohio State gets blown out by Michigan, right? I promise you, both of those teams would not be in the playoff. They would tell Ohio State, you got blown out by Michigan, so you're out of the playoffs. That's exactly what they would do, and no one can convince me otherwise. The SEC, because of Alabama's glory, gets special treatment, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of seeing SEC teams overrated because of Alabama. It happens every single year. Alabama is a great, great, great program. They deserve all whatever they get. But guess what? The rest of the SEC, let's be honest, you guys overall, you're not very good. You're not even in the same class as Alabama, and you're just enjoying the benefits of Alabama. Georgia is not the third best team in the country. It's ridiculous. And here we go with Michigan, number two. So, all right, it's set. Alabama versus Cincinnati. Absolute blowout massacre. The only way Cincinnati won't get embarrassed completely is if Alabama just shows up and just goes through the motions. But is that really going to happen? I highly doubt it. Like I said, if you want to make Cincinnati your Cinderella story, go for it. But make sure there's six teams in the playoffs, not four. Ohio State is better than Cincinnati. If Ohio State played Cincinnati's schedule, come on now. If Cincinnati played Ohio State's schedule, how many losses would Cincinnati have? Let's be honest. Let's just be honest about it. Georgia versus Michigan. All right. Like I tell Michigan fans all the time, Michigan will not win a championship because of their quarterback. Period. The only chance Michigan has to win a national championship is if McNamara plays the game of his life against Alabama. He's going to have to play a pretty darn good game against Georgia, but he's going to have to play the game of his life against Alabama. And I'll give you a good little example. Illinois fans, we remember when Juice Williams went to number one Ohio State and he had the game of his life and he beat Ohio State in Ohio State when they were number one. And then they went on to the Rose Bowl. We remember that year. Juice Williams had the game of his life. It can happen. It's happened numerous times in the history of football where a player rises up and plays the best game of his life. That is what it's going to take for McNamara and Michigan to beat Alabama. Last night, if they would have played Alabama, Michigan would have been destroyed. Iowa in the first half had plenty of opportunities to get touchdowns, but they just blew it. That's Iowa. They're not a very good team, let's be honest. Alabama on a whole nother level. I'm telling you right now, Alabama will annihilate Michigan unless McNamara has the game of his life, and that is a fact. But first, they got to get past Georgia, the great SEC, the unbeatable SEC, where if you lose to Alabama, you get embarrassed. No one cares. You're still safe. No one's gonna do anything to you. But like I said, I knew this would happen, but no one, and I mean no one, can convince me that Georgia, Cincinnati, and Notre Dame are better than Ohio State. No one in the world can convince me. I wish there was a 16 playoff. If there was a 16 playoff, depending on how they bracket it would be Ohio State versus Alabama in a title game. If there was a 16 playoff, it's a shame there's not. Notre Dame would be an easy blowout. Cincinnati would be an easy blowout. Georgia would be a blowout. Michigan because of that defense, but once again, their quarterback is suspect. So without a doubt, Alabama, Michigan, and Ohio State would be your three legit contenders. All right, they would be legit. Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Georgia, no chance in the world. Cincinnati has zero chance, none. Georgia has proven they have zero chance, none. Even if Georgia played the game of their life, they couldn't win. Even if Cincinnati played the game of their life, they couldn't win. But it's gonna Alabama is Alabama. We don't even have to say anything about Alabama. It's ridiculous how good that program is. And then we got Michigan. They got the defense, they got some running backs, but it's going to be up to that quarterback. He's got to play the game of his life. And it's just that simple. But first, we got Georgia, Michigan. Michigan needs to come out and show the world that the SEC, except for Alabama, is overrated. Here's your opportunity. The SEC, except for Alabama, is highly overrated, and it happens every year. But anyway, my top four: Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State. And then if you want to put Georgia in at four, you want to put Cincinnati in at four, I don't care. Put either one of them in there. It's an easy win regardless. But those are my top four. And like I said, Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama are the three teams that have a legit shot or would have had a legit shot at winning a championship. Ohio State's out. Now it's up to Michigan. It's up to Michigan. And I'll be watching the game Friday, December 31st, and I'll be rooting for Michigan. I'm an Illinois fan, but I'm a Big Ten guy, so I want the Big Ten to win. And so, yeah, Cincinnati, that's a blowout. It's going to be a massacre. But anyway, that's the playoff. Let me know who are your four top teams. And with these four, who do you see winning the national championship? How do you see it? Just let me know. Anyway, 16 playoff. Let's make it happen ASAP. If we get six teams in there, we can put overrated Notre Dame, who would get beat by 40 points against these teams. And then we could put Ohio State in there. That way, if you lose a couple games, then you can still have a chance. What killed Ohio State is the quarterback when they played Oregon, that was the freshman's first game against a quality opponent, and they lose. What a shame. And then the freshman plays in Michigan in the snow, in the cold. He's from California. He never played in the cold. So that was his first experience, and it showed. Like I said, it's a shame. It is a shame. But I'm an Illinois fan, and I just beat the drum of Ohio State because I'm telling you, Ohio State's offense, when they're not playing in snow, is the only offense that's capable of putting it on Alabama. Once again, they won't be playing in the snow and cold when they play in the playoffs. You put Ohio State in a dome, you take that offense against Alabama, that offense can beat Alabama for a fact. That's why I'm so strong on Ohio State. Michigan, they don't have the quarterback. So I'm just not that confident with Michigan. But Ohio State, I'm all aboard. I know the defense is a little suspect at times. I get that. But when you have that offense, I'm telling you right now, that offense can beat Alabama. But it's not going to happen this year. What a shame. Anyway, that's my rant and rave. Let me know what you guys think. Right now, honestly, I think Alabama's going to win another championship because I don't think McNamara is going to play the game of his life. But I would love for McNamara to play the game of his life and bring a title home to the Big Ten. I'll be rooting for Michigan. I'll be hoping for Michigan. But if I had to put money on the game, you can't bet against Alabama. You just can't. Unless Ohio State was in the playoff. And then I would bet on Ohio State because I believe that offense would easily be able to handle Alabama's defense. But anyway, that's my rant, my rave. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.